with Lord Knight at Winter Brawl X. How are you today?
Good. A little tired, but we're good.
Well, that is understandable. We are in finals day today, and I believe that you are in top 8 Guilty Gear, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And when do you play?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And I believe you were telling me earlier that you had competed in several other tournaments as well. How did that go for you?
It was fine. I entered Street Fighter V, Persona, BlazBlue, and Guilty Gear. So Guilty Gear, top 8, like we just mentioned. Street Fighter, I went 0-2, but it's okay. I switched characters 3 days ago, so that's fine. I won Persona, and I got 3rd in BlazBlue.
Well, congratulations on winning Persona, getting 3rd in BlazBlue. Now, Street Fighter V, that was a little surprising to me because I believe I had spoken to you before and you say you don't typically go outside of anime fighting games. What made you decide to get into that? Is it just because it's so hype and it's a new game right now, or?
That's not totally the case. I play whatever. Like, it just happens that like my favorite games are made by Arc System Works, but I figured I'd just try something new. There's Capcom Pro Tour and a lot of events, so I figured like it's a new game, like why not just start at the beginning and go through the process.
So who is it that you're playing right now?
I was playing Rashid, now I play Karen.
Why did you decide to switch characters last minute?
Rashid sucks. That's it.
Really?
That's it, Rashid sucks.
That is surprising. There's so many people playing him right now. I don't know if it's because maybe he's a little overpowered compared to or broken, as a lot of people are saying that he is, but...
No, I think he's, there are certainly good people playing him and they're putting in work with him, so I'm not saying like he's terrible, I just don't think he works for me.
Right, no, that's understandable.
That's the true reason.
Yeah, there
but
are
in
some
2 words, he sucks. Like
What?
In 2 words, he sucks.
Yeah, there are some characters that people were trying to get me to play, and I'm like, I just don't feel it. And you know, you can't play a character that you're not feeling is right for you just because somebody else thinks that they're right for you. So that being said, what are your thoughts on Street Fighter V? There have been a lot of opinions in the last almost 2 weeks about the game possibly being not completed, but at the exact same time, Capcom has kept us fairly informed, and we kind of knew before we got the game that it wasn't going to have everything.
Well, as far as like the other stuff, like story mode or whatever, like I don't really care. So as long like we can play the game against each other, I think that's what matters the most, and that's honestly the core product. So I don't really have any complaints. I'm more preoccupied with the system and like how the game works, how you actually go about playing the game and that kind of stuff. So as far as the features like DLC, costumes, or like there's no story mode, there's no arcade mode, I'm like, oh, whatever, like it's fine.
So your focus more with fighting games is on the actual like play style in the game and how it plays, as opposed to the costumes and the colors and all the free fun stuff that you
that
get
stuff's
with
fine.
it.
It's nice, but like it has nothing to do with the game. So for me, so it's fine. Yeah.
So, are you currently sponsored right now, or are you looking for?
I have a sponsor right now. It's DLink, the international wire router company, sponsors me right now.
Really?
They're pretty good to me. Yeah.
So how did that come about? How did they approach you, and what made you decide that you wanted to accept sponsorship with them?
They asked me on Twitter.
Oh, really?
They asked me on Twitter. We talked for a little bit. I thought it was a good idea, just because like they're a reputable company. Like people know who they are. It's a good like starting point. They're like, because honestly, like anime games, they're not really mainstream games. Like Guilty Gear is pretty popular, but for the most part, like the other games I've played in the past, they're not mainstream. So it's a good starting point as I like transition into more mainstream games to be associated with them. So it works for both of us, because they also are not really known for esports either. So they're trying to build that slowly.
Do they sponsor any other players, or is it just you right now kind of starting off with
It's
them?
me right now, and they sponsor tournaments. They like, I think they've added money, and they usually give like prizes, like routers and stuff, to different events. So they sponsor like a couple of Hearthstone tournaments. They're sponsoring Anime Ascension that's happening today. And I think a couple of league things, but I don't follow league, so I don't actually know.
So I'm going to take it back a little bit here. How long have you been playing fighting games? when did you start playing essentially, at what age, and what inspired you to become a part of the fighting game community and start competing?
If you count Smash, my first tournament was in 2005 and I was 15 years old. If you're only saying traditionally 2D fighters, I was 17. Yeah, I was 17 actually at NECA in 2007. So I've been playing 2D fighters for, I guess, like 8 or 9 years at this point. The main reason I play is because, and it's pretty common, like I thought I was really good and I found out I was not so good. So, and I got really mad and I thought no one else was good either. So I was like, well, if I beat everybody, then I'm good. And here I am.
I think that's the general consensus. It was funny because when I was a kid, I loved playing in the arcade machines back when arcades were still happening and popular.
Right.
And I played Tekken a lot when I was like 11 and 12, and it was our movie theater had a Tekken arcade machine there, and I used to always play Christy, which now when I'm a lot older, obviously she's kind of one of the cheapest characters in the game.
I guess, I don't know.
One could say, well, with her legs, you can be very cheap depending on the moves that you decide to use. But when I was a kid, I would always be like my friends, and they really weren't into fighting games, but I wouldn't race with them. I wouldn't do the racing games with them until they played me in Tekken. I would bribe them, and I would always beat them. And I remember when I got older and I finally got like my PS3 and I started buying like the fighting games, I learned very quickly that just because I was 11
and like beating people,
I beat the computer or my friend did not mean I was very good at the game. So I definitely understand that concept. You think you're good and then you get mad when you realize that you're not actually as good as you think you are.
Yeah, and there were no arcades near me, so like I don't actually know why I played 2D when the 2D fighter part happened, but I guess at one point Melee died for like a couple years. People kind of forget that. It was just totally dead. I wasn't really feeling Brawl, so I was playing Melty Blood on my PC, on PS1 pad. It was fun. Then when I moved to Philly, there's an arcade here, so I started going to arcade here. University Pinball. Wasn't bad.
What made you want to focus more on anime fighting games as opposed to, say Marvel or Street Fighter, Tekken?
It's just what's fun, and
you find it more enjoyable? What is it about the games, though, that you feel are more enjoyable for you as opposed to?
For example, I use Street Fighter 5 as an example since I'm playing it, and I have more reference for it. So I could totally be wrong too, because I've only been playing for like 2 weeks. But I feel like a character in Street Fighter 5, you could learn quite quickly, and you can see like people like Infiltration, they play like all the characters in Street Fighter 4. Like you can't do that in Guilty Gear. Like a character in Guilty Gear or BlazBlue is a very long-term project in a different way that a Street Fighter character is. So far, it seems. So when you play like an ArcSys game, you have I have to learn my character to like an extreme. Plus, you have to learn like matchups and things about the game. Where at least right now, I feel like in Street Fighter, like you can learn a character pretty quickly. So it's really about learning matchups. Really, really, really about learning matchups and having like very disciplined defense. As opposed to like an anime game where like if you don't, like the best player in the world in an anime game can try to pick up another character against like someone who's not that good and lose to the other person. But like the best Street Fighter player in the world can pick like and still destroy you like easily. And let's say Melty Blood's a little similar in this regard. I could pick Random Select and Melty Blood and probably beat someone who's decent most of the time. But I could never pick a random character in Guilty Gear or BlazBlue and beat somebody. Like I would get someone just too weird.
So what you're saying is the characters in anime, their play styles are also vastly different and complicated compared to the
like
way that, say, Street Fighter, Tekken, or even Mortal Kombat is their play system is set up.
I definitely cannot speak for Mortal Kombat and Tekken because I don't play them. But at least for a Street Fighter specifically, that's the case. As far as Marvel, I just don't feel like learning 3 characters. I'm too lazy. That's why I don't play KOF either. I don't want to learn 3 characters. I just want to play 1 character, usually.
It's interesting that you say you're not interested in KOF, since KOF is, I want to say it's borderline anime. Before I called it anime, and I was told, no, it's not anime, but it kind of sort of is.
Well,
it's kind of in the middle.
That word is used too broadly. Like what is anime? Like, take, for example, like Aquapauser or Under Night in Birth, like, or even Aquapauser. Like, you can't air dash. Like, it's Street Fighter 5 is Aquapauser with no assist. That's how it feels. Like, it's the same. It feels so similar, like, to me.
Right.
Like, it's very. They're like a bunch of footsie-based, non-mainstream games that if you just looked at it, you're like, oh, an anime game. But like, all you do is just ground footsies. No air dashes. You can't block in the air. Like, no bursts. Like, none of that. Right. So it's like that. That's used too broadly, I think. KOF is definitely its own specific thing. It's an interesting game for sure, but it really is. I'm just lazy. Like, lazy, and if the netcode's not good. So I need good netcode because there's not that many people in my immediate area for me to play.
So you rely heavily on playing online in your matches?
Maybe like 60%, 60, 70%. It used to be like 80, 90%, but now like it's probably like 60%.
Okay. So recently, there was a documentary in the FGC that came out called SGC Rise of the Fighting Game Community that was done by Esteban Martinez. And you were definitely one of the players that was the most featured in the film. So I wanted to ask you about what that experience was like for you and how you came to work with him on this documentary.
I've known Esteban for a while because he's from New Jersey. So I used to work in like south-ish New Jersey. So there was a gathering nearby my job, so we would go hang out and stuff. And he approached me there after, I don't know how the topic came up, but I was telling him like what it was like to play at Evo Top 8. And we had like a really long discussion about it. And a couple of weeks later, he messaged me on Facebook, pretty much asking, do you want to be involved in this? And I said, sure, fine, I'll help you out. I didn't know it was going to be like a full feature documentary at the time, but it was cool. He basically would do something similar to this, to be honest. Like, he'd have a setup, we would sit down, he would ask me questions, we would talk a little bit about like what was going on. As far as my part seemed to be just literally the tournament process, like what happens in a tournament, the path of like going through and winning and losing. So a lot of the questions he asked me had to do with that.
So what was that experience like for you then? And how can you describe it now that it's been released and everybody has seen you in this full-length documentary getting to talk about, you know, the scene that you're so heavily involved in?
I guess getting recorded is whatever, because honestly, he, what was it? I guess it was BB 1.1. So this is like 2014. So he finished recording the vast majority of it in 2014, like the middle of 2014 or so. But the film didn't come out until January 2016. So honestly, it was out of my mind until like maybe a couple months out. And I was like, whoa, this thing's actually, like, he finished. Like, it's coming out. So we watched it. We had a viewing party at my friend's house. It was really good. I mean, I guess I'm biased because I'm in it, but it was good. It was well made. It was well made. And they liked it too, so that's good.
Has it affected your involvement in the fighting game community at all? Since kind of almost internationally, everybody's been seeing you?
If it has, I don't feel it yet, to put it simply. Yeah, like I'm still doing mostly the same stuff, though, like playing in tournaments, streaming. I guess it hasn't really changed a lot of things right now.
Okay. That brings me to my next question. What are your goals for the year of 2016, and what are you hoping to accomplish in the FGC? I know that you had gotten top 8 at Evo before, so is that something you're also striving to get again?
I actually have gotten second, so I know I keep saying like I do want to win once, and of course the competition gets harder each time. So like I'd really like to try to do one this year as well. I think my number one goal, I think I have 3 main goals. There's 3 main goals. So, I mean, everyone has the same goal. They want to win Evo, okay. If Arc Revolution happens again, I'd like to qualify again. It was a really good experience last year. I had fun. And we got really far, which was unexpected for our team, so I was happy about that. And I would like to try to qualify for Capcom Cup. Those are the 3 things that I want to do. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be hard.
Well, you definitely have been putting in the hard work recently, so I really hope that you're able to accomplish at least one of those things this year, and I will definitely be rooting for you.
Cool. Thank you.
So this last question is kind of my signature question. If you could be one superhero and one fighting game character, who would you be and why?
If I could be a superhero, I think I'd be Deadpool.
Not just because the movie just came out?
No, because he breaks the fourth wall, so then like I could see another dimension. I think it'd be kind of cool. Because it'd be weird. That's kind of weird. It's too meta for me. And as fighting game character, if I could be a fighting game character, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to be, I don't know, maybe Valkenheim. He's a werewolf. Young Valkenheim would be sick. If I could be young Valkenheim, he could turn into a werewolf. This is probably one of the most broken characters I've ever played in a fighting game. Like, he turns into a werewolf, and he just has instant overheads and lows, and just breaks all the rules. So it would be cool to just turn into a werewolf and like fly around. Be a Deadpool werewolf, that'd be pretty cool.
I was just going to touch on that. I was like, so you'll be a Deadpool werewolf that could fly around and break the fourth wall and see into another dimension. That would be...
It's not bad.
No, that'd be pretty
pretty
badass,
strong,
actually. All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me a little bit. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on your win in Persona and getting third place in
Blaze Blue.
Blaze Blue. I had to think back for a second there. And good luck in Guilty Gear later on today.
Thank you.